If you are considering moving to Texas and are overwhelmed by all the options within the Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex, this video is for you. Hopefully I can explain the differences to give you a clear vision of what to expect when moving to Dallas-Fort Worth. Hi, I am Tiffany. I'm a local realtor here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. If this is your first time by our channel, then welcome. This is where we drop everything you need to know about life in Dallas-Fort Worth. For over a decade, I've been helping people just like you move here. We were actually just voted the #1 brokerage in all of Dallas-Fort Worth by the Dallas Morning News. So you're in great hands, and we look forward to helping you move to this amazing place. So whether you need to move in 9 days or 9 months, reach out. You can text us, call us, email, Zoom, it doesn't matter. We will get your questions answered. And I feel like we work all the time. So days, nights, weekends. You can even comment below on this particular video if you have questions, and we will get them answered for you. If you'll just take a second and hit that thumbs up, it helps us so much in our algorithms and helps our channel grow so that more and more people can see it and learn about Dallas life and living in Dallas-Fort Worth. It would mean the world to us. So hit the thumbs up, subscribe. We upload 3 videos a week, all about Dallas-Fort Worth. So you'll definitely get to know all the areas and really find out what's best for you. So thank you for doing that. And then let's get to it. So Dallas and Fort Worth, very, 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 very different cities. And I grew up in the middle of them, which is called the mid cities, which I'll get to in just a second. But they are like brother and sister, but they're completely opposite. So you've got Dallas, you've got Fort Worth, way different vibes. We're going to go over that in this video. It's unbelievable how different they are, but yet super close. So I'm going to show you on the map where everything is located, and then we'll get further into the personalities of each city. Okay, so as you can see, you've got Fort Worth over here and you've got Dallas over here. Notice in the middle is Arlington. And Arlington's a really cool place because I feel like it's got everything that anyone would need in order to live a fun, entertained life. So it's got Six Flags, it's got Wet n Wild, it's got Texas Ranger Stadium, it's got the Cowboy Stadium, it's got amphitheaters, it's got museums, it's got a lot. But again, because it's got all that, there's a lot of traffic. So you need to know that when thinking of Arlington and whether or not to move there. But it is almost smack dab in the middle of Dallas and Fort Worth. So I'm going to scan out just a little so that you can see. So we've gone over Frisco way up here. We've gone over Grapevine and Grapevine Lake. We've talked about Dallas. We've talked about Fort Worth now. We have talked about Argyle, which is right about here, and a bunch of other cities that you guys can go and take a look at. But I kind of wanted to give you a heads up. Prosper's way up here. Salina is coming out, and it's right up here. So my circles are crazy. But to give you an idea of where everything is in the metroplex, I wanted to show you this map. And now let's get a little bit deeper. So as far as Dallas goes, Dallas is going to feel more professional. It is faster paced. It's more hustle and bustle, more of the city life that you would feel in a Chicago or a downtown LA, New York. Not probably quite as hustle and bustle as New York, but you get what I'm saying. It's definitely city life. And so the vibe there is just professional. There's a lot of money, keeping up with the Joneses to a bit. That's just how a lot of people feel. It's definitely sophisticated. It's modern. Even the skyline is a lot different than the Fort Worth skyline. Dallas has 20 of the Fortune 500 companies in it. It has a population of 1.3 million, and it's definitely glitz and glam, and people are dressed to the nines. Sometimes I go to Dallas and in my normal clothes and I feel overdressed, if that tells you anything. Sorry, not overdressed, definitely underdressed. Whereas Fort Worth has a much more laid back vibe. It still has a city vibe, but way less hustle and bustle, way less keeping up with the Joneses. It's truly not uncommon to be in downtown Fort Worth and actually see real cowboys. You can actually see people on horseback, and you have that original stockyards that butt up against downtown Fort Worth. So it's a real cowboy down there, and it's authentic, which is really cool. You can actually go down to the stockyards and watch a daily cattle drive. So it's from 11:30 to 4. That right there is going to show you a major cultural difference and vibe difference. It definitely feels more country with a emphasis on barbecue and whiskey. So I don't know, most of the people, well, all the people that live in Fort Worth typically rarely go to Dallas, and all the people that live in downtown Dallas very rarely go to Fort Worth unless there's an event. Fort Worth has a population of about 1 million, so it's smaller than Dallas. It has a beautiful skyline. It's just not as big as Dallas's. The downtown of Fort Worth is smaller than the downtown of Dallas, and in Fort Worth, you can even go on a bike ride through downtown with the mayor, and that's not going to happen in Dallas. While we're talking about culture, I probably do need to talk a little bit about politics, only because you need to know the political leaning of each city. Dallas definitely tends to lean more liberal, and Fort Worth leans more conservative. As you get out further from each city, it turns back into more of a conservative mindset, but just for you to know that the cities definitely differ in their political leaning. And the only reason I share that is because it absolutely affects the culture of where you live, where if the political leaning is one way or the other. The Dallas median home price is in the mid 400s, and the Fort Worth median home price is the mid 300s. So it is definitely different when it comes to home prices. In Fort Worth, you can actually spend close to the mid 300s and get really close to being in downtown Fort Worth. You cannot do that in downtown Dallas. It just gets more expensive down there. You're probably going to have to be a little further out from actual downtown. And the cost of living, when you look at bestplaces.net, you'll see that Dallas has a little bit higher cost of living than Fort Worth, that they take into consideration food, healthcare, houses, and a lot more things. So just know that Dallas tends to be a little bit more to live there than Fort Worth. If you're thinking about what your finances are going to look like, that is definitely something to look at. Now let's talk about, when buying a home, let's talk about lot size, the size of your yard and what your house is on. So if you want a bigger lot and more area around your home, then you may need to take a look at suburbs outside of Fort Worth. You're looking for Keller, Flower Mound, Roanoke, Argyle, versus Dallas suburbs like Plano, Frisco. They're going to give you less land for your money. Dallas and Fort Worth, as well as the suburbs, have all types of neighborhoods. So you can chat with me on what you want your neighborhood to look like, because there are so many different types of neighborhoods around Dallas and Fort Worth, and I can give you direction on what I feel would best fit your specific wants and needs. You're going to see a lot of variety. You're going to see really old homes. You're going to see new homes in both Fort Worth and Dallas. If you're looking to live in a downtown, like a high rise, then Dallas may be a better option because they have more variety to buy in those high rises. Fort Worth has less opportunity to buy in high rises. It's more apartment type rent. So a few things on Fort Worth: they actually have a higher median household income and a lower poverty rate. They also have more homeowners in Fort Worth, and I'm sure that is connected to the fact that housing is cheaper on the Fort Worth side and the median household income is more. So that will always lend itself to more homeowners than Dallas. And all of this, I'm actually talking about the cities, meaning the Dallas proper with those actual city limits and Fort Worth proper. Because some people will say, oh, I live in Dallas, and they really don't. They live outside, in a suburb or a different city that shares a border with Dallas. It's just sometimes easier for people to say they live in Dallas or Fort Worth, and really they don't. Another thing I think you guys need to think about is traffic, and compared to where you want to live and where your job is. And do you work from home, or do you have to commute into your job? So if you're choosing to live in Dallas-Fort Worth, then you've got to know that traffic can be bad in certain areas of the town. The population growth that we have encountered over the last 5 to 10 years has really outpaced all of our construction efforts. Now, some areas have gotten better because they started the construction of those highways way before we started getting 300 people moving here a day, which that's what it's been lately. And so I think Texas A&M actually did a study in 2017 that showed that people that lived within the city limits in Dallas-Fort Worth were losing nearly 3 days of their lives a year by sitting in traffic. So you have to think about that. I would not, if you work in downtown Dallas, I wouldn't try to buy a house in Prosper, which was going to be an hour commute a day, unless that's just your thing. I guess I can't tell you one way or the other. I can just advise that you might not like that at the end of the day because it's a lot of driving. But just know that our infrastructure, they are trying to work that out, and they are expanding highways. You're going to see some construction here and there. They're expanding roads, and it's going to be a lot better as time goes on. Living in suburbs is probably definitely a better fit for anyone that does need to commute because the traffic is going to be better in suburbs than Dallas and Fort Worth proper and close to the downtown areas. And a lot of those roads are one way anyway, which makes it even harder. As far as entertainment goes, they both have some really great things. Dallas has more just because that's how it was built. So there's a ton of parks, there's lakes nearby, zoos, botanical gardens, there's nightclubs, shopping, theaters, there's fantastic museums. In Dallas, you have the Dallas Stars. You can go to the facility where the Dallas Cowboys practice. You can go and watch a Dallas Mavericks game. So as far as professional sports go, Dallas wins just because everything was built there. But in Fort Worth, you can head to the Texas Motor Speedway, and if you want to watch a race, and it's huge. You would love it. It's just one thing that if you're going to be in Fort Worth, you need to at least go to a race. You're also going to see that when celebrities come into Dallas-Fort Worth, they're going to typically perform in Dallas because of the venues. Fort Worth does have venues. They just tend to be smaller. Dallas has the bigger arenas like the American Airlines Center where they can have the huge, huge concerts. As far as diversity goes, there is diversity in both. Dallas is going to be probably the winner when it comes to diversity because it draws so many people in all over the globe because of those 20 companies in the Fortune 500, and they come here to work. And so we do celebrate diversity. It's just, I think Dallas is going to have a little bit more of it than Fort Worth. As far as schools go, in the city, in the proper Dallas and Fort Worth, the school systems are not rated all that great. They're actually rated a B- on niche.com. So if you want to live in the city and you still want your kid to go to maybe an A+ or, A+ school, you might look at private, or just, make sure that the one that you're going to send your kid to has the best rating possible. So as far as all of that goes, I hope you can kind of see the different personalities that Dallas and Fort Worth has. There is a huge amount of cities in between Dallas and Fort Worth. They're called the mid-cities, between Dallas and Fort Worth. So there's all kinds of places that you can live and get to either one quickly if that is what you want to do. I can help you with any of your questions on that. So please feel free to reach out. I don't want to make this video too long. I just wanted to give you an overview of the personalities of these two cities. So again, hit that like button, subscribe. We would love to have you around. We always are thankful that you watch our videos. And until the next one, I hope you have a really great day.